that seem simple at first glance. But behind them lie countless fragments of the human heart. One of those questions is, men cheat for sex. But why do women cheat? At first, it seems we already have an answer. However, if we delve deeper, we will realize that behind each affair is a deep valley of memories, where people have been hurt, have longed, have missed out, have lost themselves, and even the one they once considered the one. Let us slow down and reflect on this story from both sides, men and women, with empathy, not prejudice. 1. Men, infidelity from the desire of forgotten instincts. In most cases, men cheat not because they no longer love their wives, but because they feel they are no longer seen as men in the eyes of the woman at home. A man, after many years of marriage, gradually becomes accustomed to stability. He no longer needs to flirt, nor does he need to showcase his prowess. Yet deep down, every man still has a hunter, a conqueror. When at home, with his wife busy with the children and work, lacking admiration, laughter, and spontaneous moments, he feels like a robot going to work. When a younger, gentler girl, or simply someone who listens better appears, he feels awakened. And then, the forbidden becomes increasingly enticing. It's not that he doesn't know it's wrong, but he cannot control the feeling of returning to his youth, of once again becoming the center of desire. For men, infidelity is often a way to satisfy an overlooked ego, rather than a sign that he has stopped loving. 2. Women, infidelity stems from the feeling of being abandoned in their own marriage. Unlike men, women often cheat only when they are deeply hurt. A woman enters marriage with countless expectations. She loves with all her heart and sacrifices her youth. But then, as the years go by, the sweetness gradually fades away. Her husband no longer engages in conversation when he comes home, meals become mere formalities, and morning hugs turn into a luxury. At that point, the woman feels lonely in her own home, and that loneliness stretches on day after day, eroding her emotions and cooling her hopes. Then one day, another man, who may not be perfect but knows how to listen, care, and ask the right questions at the right time, steps in. She feels a spark not because he is overly attractive, but because for a long time, no one has asked, "Are you okay?" Women cheat not for physical reasons, but because their hearts can no longer find shelter in their marriage. 3. When love is replaced by habit and obligation. The most frightening thing in marriage is not arguing, but silence, no longer caring, no longer sharing. Each person lives like two parallel entities, in the same house but in different worlds. Men are preoccupied with work, coming home only to seek rest. Women are busy with children and household chores, sometimes having no time to take care of themselves. Small things accumulate into a distance, and the distance in the soul is what easily leads people to drift into estrangement. When marriage becomes merely an obligation, people begin to seek emotions elsewhere. 4. Infidelity, not the cause, but the result. Infidelity is not something that happens naturally, it is the result of a long process, where love is not nurtured, where respect gradually fades, and where people no longer look at each other with the eyes of the early days. A person does not betray for no reason, unless they feel they are no longer an important part of the other person's life. And then, they turn to someone else, not to replace, but to fill the void that has become too wide in their heart. 5. Who suffers the most when infidelity occurs? The betrayed person is certainly the one who suffers. However, in reality, the betrayer is not at peace either. Whether male or female, after infidelity, they are left with torment, avoidance, and irretrievable losses. The most painful, perhaps, are the children, innocent kids forced to grow up in a fractured family. Evenings without both a father and a mother. Vague explanations about why mom and dad no longer live together. Infidelity is wrong, but to avoid reaching that point, perhaps both parties need to reflect on themselves. 6. How to ensure that no one cheats. No one is born wanting to betray. No woman wants to lose her dignity. No man wants to destroy the home he has built. It's just that sometimes we are too careless. We believe that loving each other is enough, forgetting that love is something that needs to be nurtured every day. Let's talk more. Listen to each other more. Don't wait until the person next to you is tired. indifferent, or has turned away before you start looking for ways to hold on. Because in marriage, staying together through the years is the hardest thing. It is a mistake to say that men cheat only out of lust and women only out of emotion. The truth is that both are seeking what their marriage no longer provides. Infidelity does not discriminate by gender. It only distinguishes between those who know how to preserve their relationship and those who let their emotions sweep away their reason. And the final point, which is also the most important, if you still love each other, please do not remain silent. If you still want to be together, learn how to return. Hold each other's hands again, before you both lose each other on the very path you once promised to walk together.